Hey, what's good, YouTube? So this video is strictly for clout for myself. I want to be able to come back to this and see how correct I was, because after all the time I've spent thinking about cryptocurrency and where I think the entire industry is going long term and immediately, um, I would just really like to revisit this for myself so I can just basically just give myself all the self-validation that anyone could ever ask for. So I'd really want to discuss Caspa and why I think that it is truly the endgame cryptocurrency. It has so many qualities that take a long time to learn about, if you're brand new to crypto, as to why I think I do make the bold claim that it's going to be number two by market cap, and eventually I do think it'll be the most valuable cryptocurrency, even passing Bitcoin. And I have really good reasoning for that, in my opinion. Obviously, this is all just your own personal opinion for everything investing, and none of this is financial advice. So, if you don't know about Caspa, it's the first cryptocurrency to solve the trilemma, which is which is basically being above satisfactory in both security, scalability, and decentralization. So it requires a 51% attack, basically meaning that a single entity would need greater than 50% hash rate to perform malicious, to attempt to perform malicious activity slash transactions on the blockchain, and basically doing something like a double spend and duplicating their Caspa, duplicating their Bitcoin, Monero, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, whatever, Litecoin, whatever the proof of work network is. They're all susceptible to attacks above a certain percent control. So Caspa has a 51% tolerance, which is identical to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the number one cryptocurrency by market cap, and that's a very important quality that it has. Obviously, we really want to assess why is it there. What are those attributes that make it so high? Second is decentralization. I think for any cryptocurrency to have widespread global adoption, it needs to be fully decentralized. So basically, why would someone in like China purchase XRP? Like, why would XRP, for instance, become the well, China has, that might not be a good example because they have their republic has a lot of control over their people, but let's just say someone in like Eastern Europe, like why would they buy XRP when they could buy Bitcoin? Like honestly, it's decentralized. The which validators are legitimate or not are put out by the Ripple team, which is headquartered in the United States. If they ever want to do anything malicious against any other operating agency outside of the U.S. or even inside the U.S. or anywhere, they could easily do it because they have this centralized authority over their validators. So that's an example as to why I feel like decentralization is critical if you want to go full scale with a certain cryptocurrency. Um, and then you have scalability. So where Caspa shines over Bitcoin, but matches or actually exceeds many other like top 10 cryptocurrencies, a lot of the newer top 10 cryptocurrencies, because as the years go by, we're noticing more and more people actually using easier uh, networks that scale with ease and scale um, and transact quickly. So that's what Caspa is. It's I don't have the chart up right now handy, but if you just go on X or YouTube, you can easily find information that will compare Caspa against other top 10, top 100 cryptocurrencies. And you'll be able to see that not only is it significantly more decentralized, so you have that broad potential span of users, but it's also more or equally scalable to some of the fastest cryptocurrencies on the market. So you really have a dangerous combination here, and you can't say, oh, like this, oh, that. This is really a once in a lifetime technology. That's really what it is. If you look up the founder, Jonathan Sopolinsky, he has been cited in the Ethereum white paper. That's a big one. He performed the first ever security audit on Bitcoin. He created the Ghost protocol, working on the Dagnite protocol, and has many citations and many contributions through literally like a decade and a half almost in cryptocurrency. And you can tell the guy like eats and breathes this stuff. This is his entire world, always has been. Um, so not only is he one of the core creators, but he's surrounded himself with other very intelligent individuals that I followed, and I really encourage you to go out and look at some of the founders and some of the people involved in this project, because it's really a different caliber. And I think the goal here with Caspa is a different caliber. I think the blockchain that wins will be the blockchain that's used. This is a pretty general consensus. There's been a recent interview with Jack Dorsey, who backs this, for example. Even what's his name? McAfee software guy who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. He used to shit on Bitcoin so much, and actually but he actually, in my opinion, wrongly thought that Monero should be one of the most valuable cryptocurrencies simply because it's used. And you know why some of these people think that, if you understand where this is all going, is Bitcoin is kicking this can down the road where its emissions rate is so slow because it started in 2009, and here we are in 2025, and I don't know, I forget how many the block reward, I forget what epoch we are on and having, but it's decreased substantially from 50 blocks, but it's going down so slowly that the miners won't need to be rewarded through transaction fees for, I mean, it won't become really important for another 10, probably another 2 to 3 halvings maybe, before it's something that's even more really broadly discussed. But the point is, it's coming. It's just been coming really, really slowly. So slowly that Bitcoin has completely ignored the fact that it could have serious security issues, because here in a couple more halvings, miners will be rewarded so little in new Bitcoin, in Coinbase rewards, that they will need to hopefully become they will become increasingly dependent on transaction fee payments to fund electricity costs. So if they're not getting that in the future, you're going to have this huge upside down triangle of wealth on the top and security on the bottom, as less and less miners can become profitable enough to maintain network security. And you're going to have a lot of ASICs sitting around not doing anything. And if this happens for too long, you're going to have people that potentially could become incentivized to attack the network. Or it doesn't even have to get to that point. It can simply just come to, if there's another cryptocurrency, for instance, in 10 to 15 years that is being used widely, and investors and the masses can see that oh, this network is really striving on fee generation, and Bitcoin is dying, and it's existed for 25 years or whatever, and it's generating no greater fees than it did 25 or 20 years ago or whatever. That's going to really give people you got on shaky ground. It could become a mass exodus event. So Caspa is basically, if you just don't even think about things as like investing, or this is a crypto, or I'm buying coins, like Caspa is a technology. It is a decentralized, scarce, ultra fast, ultra scalable, unhackable, immutable digital ledger technology. It's really one of a kind, and there's never been anything like it. And once you study Caspa, you'll study other cryptos, and you'll study Bitcoin, and you'll just, every time you go to something else and you come back to Caspa, it'll just reinforce why Caspa is so amazing. You can't Every time you learn more about anything in crypto and anything even in macroeconomics, which I think is the real catalyst for why Caspa is going up forever. More likely than Bitcoin go up forever, believe it or not. I do believe that. Because Caspa is Bitcoin. It has a finite scarce supply. It has the same level, if not more, decentralization, the same level, if not greater, security. Except it's ultra fast. So it incentivizes use. If you look at which networks get use, it's Solana. It's not Ethereum, barely. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin gets less use every year, basically. I mean, not exactly, but it's not really seeing the growth that other networks have, for example, like quick, fast networks are seeing. So Caspa has that, but it has Bitcoin. So we love Bitcoin. People love Solana. Caspa is like Bitcoin and Solana and XRP, whatever, like love child. Truthfully, I mean, it's basically just take the speed of XRP, but it's an absolute shit technology that you might as well just be using a database for, and combining that with the security and decentralization of Bitcoin. And what you have here is the endgame cryptocurrency, and then you realize this is the first of its kind. It's made by a genius. I could go on about it all day, truthfully. But when you learn about macroeconomics and fiat currency of first world countries, you'll realize that almost everyone that has money is, even if they don't understand it, they're at risk of losing it, and they're at risk of losing it to some form of hyperinflation. It might not ever get to the full effect of real hyperinflation. This is the first world, but it could get into like some crazy inflation here in the next couple decades, with compounding government debt and basically just the Fed just printing money out of thin air, and just this wealth generation that is this explosion in M2. Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad situation we've got. So I think ultimately in the future, just like how in the past we tried to use gold so many times, we tried to use silver so many times. Every single time, if you look at monetary history, the government kills their people. They always inflate their money away every single time. And here we are again, and the people go so long unknown to it every single time. And here we are with the freaking internet and all these resources, and nobody in my freaking life yet understands that this is happening to us right now. Our opportunities are getting stolen from us by people that are inflating our currency away yet again, and I refuse to subscribe to that agenda. And I have looked for years and years and years. Like, I have been in crypto. I've always wondered, where is this going? I've seen pretty good success. I've bought Bitcoin at certain times and sold it at good times and made money there. I bought Cardano at really good prices and sold at good prices and made money there. And some other cryptos here and there. I've had some decent wins. But I think Caspa is, once you discover Caspa, you realize that there's nowhere really else to look. Like, you've really found your home. It doesn't matter at what point you are in your cryptocurrency journey. Caspa was created November 8th of 2021. And ever since that point, everyone that will discover it that with an open mind will discover that this is probably where cryptocurrency ends. This is where it ends. Now it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, because at the end of the day, money is a belief, and the current system wants to survive for as long as possible, because as long as the current system of money survives, those in power get to control those not in power, basically. I mean, this is all the current monetary system and how the complexities of it all and how it's set up is just insane. And the way that none of us are educated in it in public education, it's all just a big setup to force us into poverty and to give advantages to people that literally do not deserve it for any reason. And they just slow down the advances of society and just crowd people out and basically suck our energy for themselves selfishly and undeservingly. And the currency of the future that the people can stand for is something like this: a finite supply. It's for the people. Everybody gets the layer 1 network. Everybody gets everybody gets the hash rate. Everyone can enter fairly. this is totally fair. Not everyone was around for Bitcoin. Not everyone's going to be around for Caspa, but there's going to be opportunities throughout all of time, and you're going to work your way up to getting Caspa, whether or not that's investing in something else in the future, investing in Caspa now, investing whatever, working, like just saving your energy in the future economy where it's actually a fair place to do so. Caspa is here for everybody, no matter what year you're born, just like Bitcoin is, basically, in the entire crypto industry. So, with that insane introduction out of the way, I'm going to touch on why I think Caspa is a great buy right now, at this very moment. So, the date today is September 18th, 2025. Obviously, it's been a better time to buy Caspa. You could have bought it in 2021, in 2022, in 2023, and most of it. If you bought in 2024, you're down. If you bought in early 2025, you're down. But that's okay, because every cryptocurrency is going to go through ups and downs, and Caspa was no different than that. Just most cryptos, in my opinion, are going down relative to the overall money supply, except for Bitcoin and Caspa. And I think they'll be the only two that persist here for the next coming decade or 2 decades. And then of course, if we'll just touch on it real quickly, I do personally think that Bitcoin's demise will probably be in the next 20 years. It'll either be quick or slow. I haven't thought that whole thing out yet, but I do think Bitcoin at the end will be sometime. But if you want to buy Bitcoin right now, go buy Bitcoin. It's going to be hyped up. It's so hyped up. It's going to continue to be hyped up. It's a technology scarcity play. That the miners are not running out of funding anytime immediately soon, and I don't think a lot of people that care about it are buying knowing that, like they don't really care about that. Like a lot of people still think the Lightning Network might save it, or that some other policy change on the network will save it, which maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I don't think it will if Caspa can prove that it can stay secure with transaction fees alone. Okay, so why is Caspa an amazing buy today? So I'm a big believer in the Caspa power law, but we're getting shifted down right now. So just like Bitcoin in its early days, you can see the R squared has really fallen off a cliff here. We're at 849. Bitcoin way back here dropped to 753, and then we had another dip, 888 basically. So yeah, so you can see it right here. So we were like way above Bitcoin in terms of our price convergence, and now we're dipped below Bitcoin. So it's beautiful. Caspa has really been playing a dance with Bitcoin's price appreciation. It's like one step ahead and then it goes below, and then it's a step ahead and it goes below. It's so interesting. But anyways, I'm a believer in the power law for Caspa. I think if Bitcoin followed the power law of adoption, I think Caspa is following the power law of adoption. I think it's hitting those milestones slightly ahead of Bitcoin, because we are in an age of accelerants, and those accelerants are monetary policy, and they are global openness to cryptocurrency adoption. So with both of those combined, it has nothing to do with Caspa being better necessarily. That might be slightly a bit of it, but I think it's mostly just monetary policy and openness to adoption of crypto. So if we look at the price here, yeah, we're up crazy right now. I mean, this is crazy, guys. I didn't see this coming. I mean, I really thought Caspa would dip to like 7.5 cents from this 20 cents zone. That's really what I thought. I didn't buy at the best price. I mean, I bought at decent prices. I'm okay with my DCA, but it could be much better. I really didn't expect us getting this low. I thought the whole power law was shifted up from where we are today. Like what's happening is we've been down so long, the power law is shifting down with it. And I think it makes sense if you think about it. Like we were really, if you were around in 2023 and 2024, I mean, this thing was like straight up. I mean, it was saying like $100 Caspa by like 2030, basically, or early to mid 2030s. And it was like, I mean, I could see it, but like now it makes more sense. Like this is money. Money takes way longer to play out. So unfortunately, it all makes sense now. We just got way overhyped. Like, I think we were already hyped up over here, and now you can see like with these power law bands dropping, you can see like this was just pure, just obscene speculation. This whole thing from basically November of 23 to March of 24, we had like 5-6 months of just pure just greed, like overbuying. So here we are today, right? And we've had 6 months basically of just pure depression with a brief moment of fairness. And here we had a brief moment of unfairness. So it's all balancing out, guys. But in reality, we're at the very end of the post-halving year for Bitcoin. And what happens at the end of the post-halving year, typically in Q3, Q4, we get something called altcoin season. And Caspa will definitely be a participant in that, without a doubt, in my opinion, especially if you look at the recent price action like I'm showing you. So I think there's going to be some cryptos that really leave a lot of people a lot to be desired, but Caspa will not be one of those. Why? Well, because it's performed like absolute dog shit. Because here you can see, we topped at just under 21 cents in August. Actually, it was like the day after this, I think, August 1st of 2024. So we've been in a downtrend for like 13 months here, over 13 months, almost 14 months. Whereas if you go to some other cryptos that I think are about to underperform in this alt season, like XRP, I think this might hit $4 to $5 in my opinion. So I think anyone that's bought here since basically November, anyone that bought early on this pump, I think is going to be down too. I think they'll all be in loss actually by mid 2026 to mid 2027. I think somewhere in there, everyone here from like basically just under $1 will be in loss on a coin like that. And I don't think it's going to look that great for a lot of people in Caspa, but I don't think Caspa will ever revisit this price again. If my prediction is correct, we will be known as the greatest disappointment of this bull run. If my prediction is correct, that Caspa will appreciate forever on Bitcoin faster than Bitcoin appreciates. Or I'm sorry, let's reword that. Caspa will appreciate on the dollar forever faster than Bitcoin appreciates on the dollar forever. Yeah, that's my thesis. So I think Caspa has to move here at the end of this year, or else if it doesn't, then it's basically disproving it, in my opinion. It's disproving the whole thing. I think Caspa's trash, and then it's crap. The tech, no one cares about the tech. But I'm of the camp that Caspa is inevitable. It truly is just inevitable. It's a necessity to human civilization. So here we are. We're nearing the end of the year. Look at this. None of this will probably happen, but I spent many tens of hours thinking about where Caspa is gonna go. If we look at its power law rainbow, we have the upper band. Let's move this out to like November 19th. Okay, we'll have the upper band by November at 80 cents. Okay, I think the top might actually be coming in December here. We have a green September, which is on a post-halving year. That's the first time this has ever happened with a red August, green September. I think that trend's going to continue. We bottomed September 1st, and now we are on the up, guys. All season is here. Bitcoin's about to rocket to 130, 140, something like that, 150, who knows. But like I've been saying, I've spent many, many hours thinking about the Caspa top, and I really, really believe it will be in October or November, and it'll be in the later half of this year. It's going to be in Q4 of 2025. Will be one of Caspa's local tops in its grand scheme of going up forever. And I think that local top will be between 60 and 70 cents. And I think that for a lot of reasons. I think we have some what's the word I'm looking for? Fib retracement lines there. We got the 3618 at 61 cents, and we have the 4236 at 71 cents. I don't see it going to 71 cents because I see smart money front running that area. Another thing I've seen a lot is people front running a 10x, so especially from local gains. So you had marginal buying in here in the mid 60 cents region. I think somewhere between here, this is like lots more buying, right? Like in the low 70s. So we're definitely not making to low 70s. People front run their 10x that bought it like 7.4 cents or something. They're going to front run that, and they're going to front run it in the 60s. And it'll probably be somewhere in this range. I would think most likely it's going to be like a 60, probably like a 65 to 68 cent top. That's a really good region. I think it would get a lot of people really it'd get a lot of people wrecked. I think truly it'd be a lot of people that sell too early that want to buy back in at those prices, and it'd be a lot of people just being like, yeah, okay, we're basically set for the moon now, like we're going to $1, no doubt. But one of the things that also encourages me about that price is we need, because I believe in the 4-year cycles. I think 2026 / 2020 early 2027 are going to be very bearish times for risk assets, and I think we're going to go down. And I don't think that downtrend starts here, right? So if Caspa goes down like 80%, let's just say, from this price, that's a 2-cent Caspa. So I see more people DCing every single day on Reddit with no hype. There's no hype around Caspa right now, and it's still hovering at 8 cents. So you think all these people DCing on Reddit from all over the world, when it has no hype, are going to let this thing go to 2 cents? I have absolutely zero faith in that. It'll be less than like a $500 million market cap or something like that. So this thing has to go up from here, in my opinion. And if you're of the assumption that it goes up forever, right, and it goes up forever faster than Bitcoin, this can't behave quite like a normal altcoin. It has to go. Its next local low has to be higher than its existing low. It can't just be like a friggin' pump and dump alt, like you see like altcoin goes from like this price down this price down this price. Like, no, this has to set a solid higher base. And when I look at what's happened recently here, we have like one zone that I think would really markets move in the direction of the greatest pain, and I think a zone that would really cause a lot of pain for a lot of people that would be in disbelief is everyone that buys this pump above 17 cents, and anyone that bought the hype up here above or at 17 cents. I could see those people getting wrecked by a 17-cent Caspa in the bear market, and they would be so disappointed because there would be so little buying because retail would be shut out so badly. There'll be so little demand for a risk asset like this. I can definitely see 17 cents, even if it's the best, because everyone that will have known it's the best will already have bought in higher. And do you know why they will have bought in higher? Because my price prediction, like I said, is probably between 65 and like 67, 68 cents, something like that. So you get that price from today, you're up 7x. This is going to drive so much buying so quickly, I believe, in the next 1 to 1.5 months. I mean, everyone's average DCA price on Caspa is going to be like 50 cents probably. So if you have this go to 17 cents, everyone's already wrecked. You already have wrecked everybody because the volume up here after I think Caspa gets listed on Coinbase, Binance, I think it gets listed on OKX and Crypto.com, and probably some other 2 more exchanges that I don't even know exist. I don't give a shit about. I think it gets listed on like 6 exchanges on this pump, and it's like every day. It's like, holy crap. Like, that's what I think's lining up for Caspa here, because these exchanges are greedy and they're going to do what's in their best interest. And until Caspa has serious volume, which won't happen until alt season starts here soon, they have no reason to list Caspa. So they're all going to list like that because they all want their names to be up on the spotlight for that hype moment. Because this is going to generate a lot of hype because a lot of people don't know about Caspa. The biggest risk is not knowing about Caspa. It's not anything else. It's so simple, really. It's so simple. Everyone will look back and be like, this was so simple, really. It's just the hype on it, because it's so good once you understand it. That is what's going to wreck people. It's what wrecked all of these people for 15 months. It's what wrecked these people. It's what wrecked everybody here, really. I mean, you just didn't know about Caspa. Even if you bought at 3 cents, you got wrecked. Like, why weren't you buying at 1 cent? Even if you bought at 1 cent, you got wrecked. Why weren't you buying at a half a cent? Why weren't you buying at a tenth of a cent? Why weren't you buying at a tenth of a cent? Like, you got wrecked. Like, you should have been in the trenches. You should have been mining crypto. You should have been on Discord, because if you're buying Caspa at this point, you're already too late. We're all wrecked already. So you just got to join the wrecked train, okay? It's better to join it here at 8 cents than it will be at $1, at $10, at, in my opinion, $100. I'd rather join at 8 cents. So I can't join at a cent, so let me join at 8 cents. Let me join at 10 cents. Let me join at 20 cents. Let me join at whatever. You know what I'm saying? They're all better than all the other prices I just listed before. So this has to go up, because if it goes down now, it's not going to 2 cents. So this goes to 66 cents, right? And a common retracement pattern for Caspa has always had these 73, 74% drawdowns. And I think that is going to be in line with a lot of other altcoins this all season, because the pump is so much less, right? The pump is so much less on altcoins this time around, because the bottom was so much less. Like, it's not, this all season is going to be so freaking boring. It already is. Like, alts have like just died out completely. Like, if you were a 2021 investor, no wonder nobody's here right now. And that's another thing that makes me bullish, by the way, on the next couple months, is you have all these bullish things lining up, like like retail sentiment is in the toilet, and nobody's invested in crypto. Nobody's looking at crypto right now. Social interest is at all-time low, basically, forever almost, on Ben Cohen's social metric. Well, I forgot where I was going with that, but basically, yeah, I think this is going to go, I think it's going to go up here so it can have that 74, 73% drawdown. It normally has. I think it's just going to behave like normal, because if you get a 74% drawdown, that's 17-cent Caspa, even if it just wicks down here, guys. So I think it might just hang out at like 24, and I wouldn't be surprised if one day just dumps, and then we just get that wick, you know what I mean, to just wreck all these people, and they're like, are you freaking serious that I held this whole time just to be in break even out here in 2026? Like, that is going to piss so many people off. They're actually going to think this coin is dead forever. They literally will think this coin's dead, but it really is far from dead. And that's going to get everyone that said never below 20 cents again, like, buy now, we're safe, never below 20 cents. Never say shit like that. Never below 10 cents again. Hopefully, if it does go below 10 cents again, it's a dead coin, straight up. Like, get out of this coin. I mean that. Because this thing should be appreciating forever against the dollar, not sitting back here when M2 is skyrocketing later. So let's talk about, so that's where I think Caspa is going. Basically, in the next 3 months, I think Caspa will be worth at a peak price of, let me go out and let me say, just for the fun of it, I'm going to say 67.8. 67 cents, 0.8. All right, that's my prediction. If that comes true, that would be insane. So, all right, so you know why Caspa was great now. You know why I need to look into it. You know where it's going in the short term, right? And I can say this because we just did all this. You know what I mean? We've already done the whole thing. Let me zoom in on my arbitrary squiggle horoscope chart here. I drew this circle before it hit there, by the way. So yeah, we had the bottom, another bottom, another bottom, another. You can just see this is just healthy support, big support. Like, people are coming in buying these dips because they know this is the end game crypto. The only people here right now just know this is the end game crypto, so they're buying it. They're knowing what they're buying. They're buying a shit ton of it. They're always buying it, but down here they're buying a shit ton of it because they know it's end game, guys. So my chart here basically tells us, like, we're exploding, okay? And then if you look at Bitcoin dominance, I think this is about to fall off a cliff. We're under this long-term support. We just came up, tagged it. We're sitting here. I wouldn't be surprised if we tag it again and then drop. That's whatever, though. Who knows what's going to happen there. Total 3 has been, so this whole time retail sentiment has been in the toilet. Nobody cares about crypto. Total 3 has been slowly, relentlessly, maniacally building up here. I think it's ultimately building up for a giant explosion up here to around where we saw last November, except this one probably will be a little more sustained. Get everybody in this bitch. So that's looking bullish. I mean, that just keeps going up despite any macroeconomic headwinds. I think, Tether market cap combined with USDC is just exploding. We have Ethereum up near all-time highs, sitting right below all-time highs, which we just set right here. Actually, the yellow line was that the old all-time high? No, what the hell is the yellow line doing? All right, so yeah, so we're sitting right up here below that yellow line, the all-time high. I think we're actually, almost here, guys. If you're bullish on Ethereum, this is not the time. I think this was the time, for sure. When the ETH BTC chart was flatlined for a month, you had a month to look at it. Yeah, that's when you should have been buying. And then this happened, so it's like, if you didn't, you should have been buying. I'm sorry. So, and then you have the CAS Bitcoin chart, which is looking insanely bullish for this very day that just started. I personally really think this is about to explode literally today. I don't know what this is going to go up, but probably a lot. Probably a lot. I mean, I think once Bitcoin gets above this trend line that I'll show you in a second, I think this thing is going to just explode. I mean, I think we're going to see the biggest. I know we can see some big ass candles for this thing. We can, guys, but the market has made us forget what those look like completely. I mean, we're seeing 10% here, 10% over and over again, 10%, 5% relentlessly. What's some of these through here? So this was the crazy FOMO run. 22% right there. Yeah, I think we could see a 22%. I think we could see something that we haven't seen since the very beginning days of Caspa, because this will be the first candle on the all season. I mean, this is insanely bullish things can happen in insanely bullish time frames. When you have consolidation that is this massive, holy crap. And we bottomed on Ethereum, despite the masses on YouTube saying that, altcoins bottom when altcoins skyrocket after Ethereum breaks all-time high. It probably happens at the same time, but Caspa's already bottomed on Ethereum here. I can finally confidently say it after telling myself this was the bottom, 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 this was the bottom. I've been saying. Lessons learned, guys. Lessons learned. So let's show that Bitcoin. So once we get above this trend line here, every time basically here was a little more subdued, but since here altcoins have set up a lot nicer on Ethereum and on just total 3 over Bitcoin. They've set up so much nicer, because right here is a crazy alt pump. Right here less so, but I think this one's going to be a lot bigger than both of these before, because alts are set up nicely, and we got these rate cuts that are fresh off the press. We got M2 exploding, global money supply exploding. Yeah, I think once we get above here, which definitely could happen today, it's basically an 18K Bitcoin, and we have a lot of shorts positioned right up here. I think this explodes in early in the day on September 18th. That's my assessment. Early in the AM. So let me talk. If anyone's still watching this video, and might turn this into a channel, might not. If this video gets like 1,000 views, I'll turn this into a channel. That I use regularly, not just old engineering videos. So yeah, you can also see some other bullish stuff that we've never seen before on Caspa. Why I think this is going to be an ultra compressed, ultra fast squeeze on the price of Caspa. You have all this supply that is completely refusing to sell their bags. Like, we have serious amounts of serious holders. Look at this 6-month supply. I mean, this thing has exploded. It has almost doubled since this thing is so laggy right now. Why? It's almost doubled since before the big run up in 2023. So insanely bullish. So insanely, but the squeeze on this is going to be insane. The squeeze on this is going to be so insane. The FOMO is going to be insane for anyone not involved. We also have 93% mined now. I think soon Caspa will have a less stock to flow than silver on the average year. And then it'll surpass gold, and then it'll surpass Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin will surpass Caspa again, and then like 2 years later, because of the halving, Caspa will then surpass Bitcoin again forever for the end of time. So you have all these wallets that are loading up, these exchanges that we think that this one's like Binance, this one could be Coinbase, this one could be like crypto.com, this one could be OKX or one of these. All the big exchanges that have yet to list for selfish reasons. which is no fault of their own. I would do the same. And then you also have smart contracts. So you have so many reasons to be bullish short term. And then, okay, so back to what I was saying, since I got you with me still, where do I think Caspa is going long term? In case this is my last video ever, and I just want to come back to this to say, yeah, Future Connor was like the smartest guy ever. This guy was so far ahead of the curve, it's ridiculous. So we're going to go out to the year chart. Hold up, how do we do this? We got to go out, we got to do months, we got to do all, we got to zoom this out. So that's where we're going here, right? And then I mentioned earlier, we're going to get that retracement probably by mid 2026, mid to late 2026. Whoops, this is already terrible. Let's draw this better. I think we come up here, right, by like November, and then late. Oh God, guys, hold on. We gotta make this a little better than that. So right here, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. All right, and then you get a limp up, right? You just get some normal price action, bore the crap out of everybody. And then probably, somewhere, just now we're getting a little bullish again. We go up to $1 before anybody even looks. Okay, we're in 2028. We're way ahead of all season or anything like that. Even if we get an accelerated cycle next time, which could happen, I could see us, because everyone's so accustomed to the 4-year cycles, one of these times is going to be different. I don't want to make that prediction necessarily, because that's like a crazy prediction and outside the scope of what I'm trying to do right now. But let's just make the assumption that they're 4-year cycles, okay? I think we go up to $1 when nobody is even looking, nobody's paying attention, okay? Like, this is a scramble for people to get this shit up here, and we go over $1. We go to like $1.40, let's just say, something like that. It's just ultra bullish, right? We get our pullback, sharp pullback, probably to close to the previous all-time high. We wreck everybody, that's super bullish. And then we get the final push all season, if it's an early year or whatever, that just goes straight up to, I think, $5, guys. I've thought about this a lot. I think we're going to $5 next cycle, which would put Caspa at approximately $150 billion market cap. And basically this cycle, I think Caspa will barely get into the top 20, maybe just barely brush it by the time everything else is done appreciating and you account for stable coins here. We're counting stable coins here on CoinMarketCap. Barely brushes the top 20. Maybe like 19, 18. That's my prediction. Next cycle, I think top 6, top 7. I think BNB is around. I think XRP is around. I think all these coins are still around here. I think Solana is still around. I think USDC is still around. I think Dogecoin is still around. And I actually think it's above $1 probably at the end of next cycle, despite it being an actual shitcoin basically. But it's good though. It's actually good, but it's a shitcoin. It's good for the memes. Bad because it's inflationary forever. But Bitcoin might be too one day. We'll see. If you know, you know. But yeah, Dogecoin could easily be 3x greater than this. So that's Caspa could be over 150, could be like 160, could be 170 billion dollar market cap. I think that could be in line with maybe I think it's gonna be like top 7 probably. It's gonna be top 10. It'll be like top 7, top 8. Maybe 6, maybe. Just depends on what happens here. You never know. Brad Garlic House could just sell his whole stack and the whole thing just drops. And then the next cycle, and this is in line with the power law, by the way. So if we zoom out here to like 2035, you can see that the upper band in late 2029 is $6 here, $5, $6. So I'm predicting we go to that 60 something cents this time. Next time we go to that 5 something dollars, and then the time after that, actually, I think we go to $20. And this one doesn't show this, but in 2033, the upper band should be around $20, somewhere around there. I think $20 is doable. You go to $5, you get a pullback to $2, and then you go up to $20. Right, and this is by the year 2033. So in 2033, Caspa has a market cap of around $600 billion. Ethereum's still around. I don't think it's doing very good, but still around. I think in some capacity, but it's like kind of a dead project at this point, guys, in my opinion. Tether has skyrocketed still. BNB is still around. Solana is probably still around. But a $600 billion market cap is above all of this, even at that point. It might be a closer competition, definitely than today. But it's probably number 3. If it's not number 3, it's number 4 behind Tether, meaning that it's Bitcoin, Ethereum still. I think Ethereum will be, even if it's like $7,000, guys, right, by 2033, that's still a higher market cap than Caspa will be at a $20 Caspa. So I think you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Caspa, number 4. And then by the 2037 cycle, by 2037, that's when you have, in my opinion, I think you're going to have around a $60, $70, $80 Caspa. It'll be over $1 trillion market cap. It'll be being used by so many people all around the world. I think Bitcoin will still be number 1 somehow. I think it will. And it'll be, over $1 million. I do believe that before the cat's out of the bag on its security model. I think it will get to insane heights because I think people are just going to have stupid amounts of money and all the masses just believe Bitcoin is going up forever. Which it could. I just think it's unlikely. Not as likely as Caspa. So by 2037, I think Caspa is $60, $70, $80 a coin approximately. And I think that it has gone up so much. It's worth couple $1 trillion. Ethereum is not worth a couple $1 trillion. Nothing else is worth trillions of dollars in crypto, even at that point. In only Bitcoin and Caspa, in my very speculative opinion. I admit all this is very speculative. Anything could happen, truly. But this is just if things stay on the current trajectory and the world keeps moving the same way it currently does. That's just what I think. So, yeah. And then I think Caspa hits $100, around 2040. Caspa does hit $100 a coin. So that's 15 years from now. So you buy it $1, you're getting a 99% discount from $100 a coin. You buy it 9 cents, or I'm sorry, you buy it 10 cents, you're getting, a 99.9% discount from $100 a coin. You want to buy this right now. Because I think Caspa will be the most used cryptocurrency. Maybe Bitcoin is still hanging on to its digital gold status, but I think Caspa is the most used, most recognized form of payment cryptocurrency. It's being used by all these countries, by so many countries that have just devalued their currencies to zero. It's being used for real payments on a real daily basis, the ultimate use case for crypto. That is Caspa's future. That is why I'm bullish on Caspa, because it is going to satisfy the ultimate endgame use case of all of crypto. So that is everything with Caspa. That is why you need to buy it. That is about Caspa. That is why you need to buy Caspa now, and why, if this cycle goes according to my plan, you should be assessing and looking at Caspa very seriously into the future, because this thing is here to stay, and it's here to stay in a big way. And I don't think you want to fade Caspa, and it's gonna be in the history books. Sorry, Bitcoin will be in the history books probably, and Caspa will probably, in my eyes, will be what you use to pay for those, those history books in the year 2055. You use Caspa to pay for your Bitcoin in the history books. So on that note, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I really appreciate that shit. I know this was a long ass video. But thank you, and I hope you have a good day.